And thank you to you, those who are returning today. We started this journey last week with a dive into Google AdWords and how they work, how they could affect your business. And I recognize some names returning here today. So I hope you will get as much out of this second presentation as you did out of the first. And this one, I will do a overview of what we did, a little quick review of what we've previously gone over in the previous presentation. For those who didn't get a chance to join us last time, they'll benefit from that information, and hopefully the repetition will further sink into your head about how Google AdWords work and what they can do for you. And then I'm going to do a live walkthrough where we will visit the various dashboards that Google provides to help you understand what's going on in your website, what's going on with the audience that you're attracting to your website, and then additionally, how your ads are performing as you are trying to market yourself to people who are searching for the goods and services that you offer, and as they are finding you online. So I am going to share my screen, and we're going to slideshow presentation here. Let me get this bar out of the way. So Google AdWords, as I explained in the first presentation, it really is a superpower right under your nose. This is going to be the second session, so we're going to go a little bit further than we did the first time. But you don't have to be in business for very long or on the internet for very long to know that when people are they have a problem, a question, they're looking to do some kind of shopping, they're more likely to Google it. There are other ways of searching, but Google kind of is the dominant player in the space. So if you have a business and you're not visible on Google, a lot of times you get overlooked. One of the things that I find as someone who works with dozens and dozens of small businesses every day, and who have run many of my own websites, is that the vast majority of traffic that comes to your website usually comes through a Google search. Now, once they've been to your website once or twice, they may bookmark you, or their browser may remember that you've been there before, and so it will go directly to you and bypass Google. But being visible, being indexed, as they say, in Google is vitally important to your business, so that you're picking up that traffic, because every visitor is a potential customer, because your website is what's going to help further convince them that they need to buy from you. So that experience, what they see on Google and what they see on your website, are very important. So just a quick review of what we did last time. We talked about Google AdWords and looked at Google ad results. So anytime you Google something, at the top, as you'll see here in the red, is the paid ads. This is the pay to play. So these are businesses who pay to have that position in the Google search results. Down below are the organic results. It's, if you have a website that is very well constructed, has lots of keywords and phrases that relate to what it is you do or the products you sell, the services you provide, Google will more than likely have you ranking high in these organic results. But competition among businesses is very fierce. And so sometimes, even despite your best efforts, it's hard to rank high enough here so that you are one of the first choices. Google offers you an opportunity, and that's to pay for a position up here. I guess the downside to that is this space is also very competitive too. So you might get outbid in terms of a competitor who wants a top spot. Depending on the industry vertical that you're in, you might not find any competitors up here. Whereas others, you will find maybe multiple. If you're a plumber, if you are an HVAC provider, more than likely you're going to have a lot of paid search results here. If dentists, not so much. Boutiques, craft stores, probably not so much. Realtors, yes, you're going to have a lot of competition here in the paid results. So it just varies industry by industry. Now, that's not to scare you off and say, don't do a Google Ads campaign. It's just letting you know that it's not a guarantee. And as you get into it and run your campaigns, you'll understand what you need to do to show up here, even with paid search results. Last week I talked about the art versus science. So anytime I'm dealing with a client and we're talking about marketing, I remind them that they think of marketing as a science. If I do A, B, and C, I'll get customers, I'll get purchases, I'll do business. And the truth of the matter is, it's a little bit of an experiment, because you are putting yourself out there for the consumer to make the choice whether or not do business with you. And so if the message isn't right, if you're not positioned correctly in the Google search results, if your website is hard to navigate, or it's old, or it runs slow, these are things that might cause consumers to bypass you. So the art of it is the experimenting with, in terms of Google Ads, is what keywords, what phrases, what search terminology, how did you set up your Google business profile, and what categories did you select there. And so you will find that as you perfect the art of it, you really figure out what it is your message is, how you're presenting yourself to the consumer, and what resonates with them. Then it starts morphing into more of a science. So I have a client right now that she has a Google Ads campaign. It's the only advertising she does. She doesn't do anything else. She doesn't do social media. She doesn't do videos. She does have a good website, but she doesn't do anything else. And she has massaged her Google ad campaign to the point that she knows exactly the keywords and phrases that cause people to call her up and book services with her. And to the point that, when she wants more clients, she adds more dollars to certain keywords and phrases, and those clients come in and they become paying customers. When she wants to go on vacation, like this past year, she went on vacation for a month in Europe. She turned down the dollars. Fewer customers came in. It relieved some of that business pressure off of her, so that she could go away to have her vacation and not worry that all these customers were coming in and they weren't being provided a service to her. And then when she got back, she turned up the dollars again. And I'm not talking thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, yes. But she's got it so dialed in, she knows what to do to increase business or slow business down. So that's the power of Google Ads. And that's, she's taken the art of it and turned it into a science in her situation. And that's a process, and it takes time. I work for a national advertising agency, and whenever I start a campaign, I remind them, we're experimenting now, we're testing now, we're A/B testing, we are trying to see what is working with consumers in relation to your business. And once we figure out what works, then we're going to go hard in that direction and really ramp up the marketing. So just keep that in mind. Starting out, you may falter a little bit, and that's okay. You will, with persistence, you will find what works. We talked about what Google AdWords are not. So in terms of marketing, Google AdWords are not a way of getting the word out there. In terms of a business, you have to think of it as a funnel. The people at the top of the funnel are those who are just becoming aware of you. They might have an interest in what you provide as a product or service, and they're just becoming aware of you. There's certain marketing tactics that work up there. And then as they become more familiar and comfortable with you, they come down further in the funnel to the decision stage. And that's where Google AdWords really shine, because when people are looking for something online, they're actively shopping. They've made up their mind that I have a problem, I have a need, and I'm going to do this search, and the best provider of an answer to that problem, need, or challenge is the one I will more than likely pick. And so Google AdWords is what they call a bottom of the funnel marketing tactic. And so it's not something that just kind of gets your name out there. It really is something that's in a transactional stage. It's when somebody's actually going to pay you money to do something for them or deliver a product to them. So if you're looking to get, broad awareness, broad interest in your business, Google AdWords is not going to be the way to go. But eventually you will want to do that. Some of the keywords or AdWord terms that you're going to hear, keywords, these are going to be terms that are, if you're a plumber, it's going to be, a leaky faucet, dripping faucet, plugged toilet, pipes burst or something like that. These are going to be keywords that you're going to put in the campaign so that when people are searching online, Google's going to associate those terms with your business, and it's going to say, hey, Bob's Plumbing handles leaky faucets. And so that person can then click the ad and go to your website and get your phone number or whatever. Ad groups are going to be things you're going to group together. So, if you are a plumber, just continuing that example, residential things like clogged toilets, leaky faucets, emergency weekend repairs, that is going to be an ad group for residential. If you also do commercial, you might do something along the terms and phrases that relate to property managers, building maintenance, larger jobs. And then the rest of these are ad headlines and text, ad extensions. These are the elements of the ad as you're putting it together. We went through that, and I might go through that again briefly today. The bid, this is how much you're going to pay per click. So it's on what they call a cost per click basis. In other words, many people may search you, and you may come up in Google search results as an ad, but unless they click on you, you don't pay for it. So that makes Google AdWords even a better value because it's showing that person your name. It gives you a sense of reputation, of service, of presence in the community. Now, unfortunately, if they don't click you, maybe they're not going to do business with you, but it still gives that impression that you are one of the top professionals in the community for that need. And then the things like quality score and campaign budget, these are things that quality scores, Google will tell you, hey, your ad isn't doing really good. And they will make suggestions. They'll say, you need to add these 10 keywords, or you need to eliminate these keywords. So Google is very good about that. And 8 times out of 10, I take their recommendation and actually implement it in the campaign. And implementing it is easy. They just say, click this button, click it, and they do it. So yet another reason to go with Google AdWords. And Google AdWords is not paying me to say any of this. But it's just true. So those are terms you're going to encounter. Now, once you have a Google AdWords campaign up and running, there's multiple ways of monitoring the success. How is it working? How is it affecting your business? These customers that are coming to your website, are they the right customers? There's multiple dashboards and methods of monitoring that. And we're going to go through that. I'm going to show you those dashboards and show you how they work. They may look a little bit similar, but they all do something different. Now, I'm assuming, we did last week, we went in depth on setting up your Google Business Profile. It's a very simple process. You go to Google Business Profile, just Google that, and it will take you to a screen where you can enter in the information, and they will start building out a profile for you. And then once you have that done, there's a button that you'll click for ads, and it'll lead you through a similar process to create a Google ad. And we'll look at that shortly. But that's kind of the main dashboard that you're going to work with. And then beyond that, you're going to monitor your ads with the Google Ads dashboard, and then Google Analytics. Google Analytics will look at your website. Google Search Console kind of looks at your audience. So let's just click over here and see. So Google AdWords and Google Search Console. These are things that are going to look at how visible are you? Are you showing up in search? Are your AdWords relevant to what you want people to know about you, the services and products that you provide? and it will make suggestions on ways to increase visibility or drive even more traffic to your website. Google AdWords, this is targeted advertising. So you are picking a geography, you are picking keywords that relate to your business. There's many ways you can manipulate the ad so that it shows up to people in ways that you think will drive business to you. You can pick the times of day your ads show up. You can pick the days of week. Like I said, the geography. There's a lot of ways that you can manipulate it and make it work for you. I had another client through the Women's Business Center I was working with, and they thought all of their business came from San Luis Obispo. And they said, we don't need to advertise in any other communities because all of our visitors come from San Luis Obispo. Well, when we dug into the data through these dashboards, what we learned was they did about 25% of their business out of Nipomo, and they had no idea. And so with that in mind, they started to think a little bit differently about how they might market themselves, how they might position themselves online so that folks from out of town are more like, they were a pizza parlor. And so at first they thought, why are we getting so much business from Nipomo? And as we looked at the data, what we realized was that people in Nipomo, when they came to San Luis Obispo to shop downtown, before they went home, they wanted to eat something. And so they're looking for a pizza place that they could sit down and eat. And, they were a natural choice for these shoppers. And so that's how that Nipomo segment of the audience came to their business to eat. So it did really kind of transform how they saw their customer base. Google Analytics. This is a little snippet of code that you put on your website, and it looks at the people who are coming to your website, age, gender, sometimes income levels. It will look at geographically where they're coming from, times of day, how long they come on your website, what pages they look at when they're on their website. This data, it can be really useful because if you have, and this was, I think it was an HVAC company I was dealing with, they had a page where they had a lot of information, their emergency services and their maintenance services and all that. And they had yet another page that they thought was going to be their most popular page. And what they found was that people were gravitating to this other page because it detailed all of their information. And, it made them think, oh, well, okay, people are hungry for all of, this kind of laundry list of things that we do. Maybe we should invest more time in really filling out that information, answer questions that people may have. Without Google Analytics, they wouldn't have done that. All right, so now we're at the kind of the live demo piece of this. And so I'm going to stop and I'm going to jump out and we're going to run through some of these dashboards as we're, as we go through, what Google Ads does for you and how we monitor it. So I'm going to stop here. And now I'm going to try, let's see. Where's that other? Is that the right window? Oh yeah, I just need to jump out. That was it. So let's go back where we started. The Google Business Profile. So this is going to be the easiest way for you to launch a Google AdWords campaign. And this Central Coast Sotheby's, a business I'm closely related to, and their real estate office out of Cambria. And they do an excellent job on maintaining this box on the side. This is their Google Business Profile. So every business can have this box. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You just need to go in and register and claim this space. And then over here, you'll see all the things that you can do. The consumer, the user cannot see this. Only you as the business owner can see it. And are you guys able to see my screen? I want to make sure I'm still, I think so. Yeah. And
Yes, we can see your screen. Sorry about that.
yeah, no problem. So all of this relates to everything that you see here. And as you can see, it's got a nice photo of their front of their building, a map, picture of the side, the outside, tells their hours of operation, how to make an appointment. And interestingly, their products. So the houses that they currently have to sell, they've got these in the product. So if you have a business that sells a product, a physical product, or if you have an online business that sells classes or something like that, you could also put these here, and people can literally shop through what you have to offer right here on Google, which is very convenient. And you can see the reviews, a little bit about the company. And they started this about 4 years ago. Google allows you to put on a little blog post on Google search results, which is really handy because, if somebody comes to Google and looks up your business and they're not sure if they want to click, this is more proof and validation of, the services that you provide and how helpful you are to a consumer. So, this is how you set up the Google business profile. And then once you're here, you can click advertise. And this starts the process of creating a Google ad. Let's see. So they've already done this a few times. So a lot of this information is already filled out. And I'll go through this a little more quickly just because we went in depth last week. But you start here, you start with headlines, 3 different headlines, and you can see it's reflected here on kind of a mobile screen look. So you know what the ad looks like once you type in the information. And you put the 3 headlines in here, you can add another one, and then you can put different descriptions. So if you headline 1 could relate to description 1, you see that headline, find great real estate, looking for great real estate in Cambria. You see that how that is reflected there. Cambria based relates to, I don't think they made a description for that. But as you can see, depending on how somebody looks for you, if somebody were typing in Cambria real estate, Google might show them headline number 3 and description number 1, because they know that user is looking specifically for Cambria. So it's a dynamic ad system where they try to make the ad look as close to what the search question was as possible, so that when they see it, I was asking about Cambria real estate. There's the provider. Here's the person I need to click. So it's very helpful. You put in your information, your phone number. You click next. You add in some keywords. Google will search your website and pull out keywords. If you're a plumber, you'll see a bunch of plumbing related keywords here. And if there's something missing, these are the selected keywords. If you want to add more keywords like real estate listings or property management, apartments, in plumbing, they might say, commercial plumbing or leaky faucets, and you can click the plus and it'll add it into the campaign. And you're just building the ad step by step. You pick your radius, so it shows you this is where your business is, and this is the radius, obviously not in the ocean, but this is the radius of people who do a search that we're going to show your ad to. And then, obviously you can grow it bigger and bigger depending on, the service area that you provide, up to 40 miles. Now, if you have multiple locations, you can pick multiple locations to do that. And then here's the budget. And this is what I really like about the budget selection. And it's going to be different for every industry. So in real estate, it's very competitive. The keywords are expensive. So they're saying if you spend this much a day, you'll get an estimated 150 to 300 clicks each month. But it's a slider. So, if you need more clicks per month, you just keep sliding until you get that. Now, obviously, you may say, well, $50 a day, my business doesn't do that much business. I can't afford that. So you can slide it down. Now, at some point, it gets so small, it's in the orange. And what they're saying here is based on the keywords that you are using and the industry that you're in, you're going to be outbid by realtor.com, by Zillow, by the Remax shop just down the street. So you are at risk of your ads not showing up very much at all. So they're just warning you. Now, if that's all you can afford, you can test it out and just run an ad campaign at that level and just see what it does for you. You can change it at any time. You can go on Google AdWords and turn off the campaign, turn on the campaign. You can increase the budget, decrease the budget at any time. You're not locked in. If you say, I'm going to spend $100 a month and 2 weeks in, you decide, yeah, this isn't for me, I'm not going to do it. You can turn it off and they will just bill you for what you use. They will not bill you for the $100. So it's, this is a very safe way of experimenting with your marketing. And then you click next and they go through, this is how it's going to look. They just go through all, make sure everything is right. And then you get on to the billing section. So I apologize, that was very quick. I hope you picked up on that, but that's the easiest way of starting a Google ad campaign is creating your Google business profile, clicking on advertise, and then following the steps. Now, once it's up and running, this is a very simple way. Google AdWords is a super complex marketing platform. It can stay this simple if you want it. If you want it to do many more things, you can do that. But just for the sake of simplicity, brevity, this is an easy way of getting in as a small business owner. Now, once you are up and running, so this is the same company, Central Coast Sotheby's. They changed names. It was Barnes and Associates, but this is the Google Ads platform, the dashboard. And you log in here and it tells you, based on, this is the date range from November 16th to March 30th. Obviously it stopped here in August. But they had this many clicks, this many impressions. Impressions is just another word that they showed up in search results. So there was an ad view essentially. And then for those that clicked, they had 11,700. For those that click, Google charged them an average of 78 cents. And the reason it's an average is because there were different words used to create that click. So, luxury homes might be a $2.30 word for a cost to click, whereas, mobile home might be a 20-cent word. So, you're averaging out the cost of all of those different keyword prices. And then it talked about that, how much they spent overall in the ad campaign. So they spent over $9,000 for a really short campaign, from February to August. So, but once you're in here, there's a lot you can learn. On the side rail, you can look at the various campaigns and it'll tell you, that all of the different campaigns they had. They had a brand campaign where they were just promoting the brand. They had a campaign for Cambria, Paso, San Luis Obispo, and they break these up into different ad groups. So these ad groups, they had different AdWords associated with each ad group. And then let's look at the keywords. So all of these, you could just go into minute detail on all of them. There's just tons and tons of information. So search terms, let's look at the search terms here. This is a Paso Robles real estate. So the keyword Paso Robles real estate, MLS listings, San Luis Obispo. So just different combinations. This is the point where I want you to think bigger about your business. And when I say bigger, I mean more detailed. I have a number of small businesses, medium-sized businesses that come to us and they say, we sell rugs. So we have 10 keywords that we want to run on Google AdWords. 10 keywords is not nearly enough. Any business should have 100 plus keywords. And I know you may be thinking, I can't even think of 100 keywords that relate to my business. I mean, some of you can, but some of you may struggle, and that's okay. There are tools available to you that will help you figure out all the ways and all the words in which people may search for the product or service that you provide. And so, and it's important to have a robust, big list of keywords. I've seen businesses with 6,000 keywords. I've seen businesses who have 25,000 keywords. So there's, obviously they have big budgets. You don't pay for all of those keywords. You only pay for the keywords that people click on. If they search real estate Cambria and they click on it, you pay for that word. You don't pay for the 25,000. You just pay for what actually delivers a click to your business. So that's there's a lot here. And if you have follow-up questions, you can email me or ask me, and especially if you've started an ad campaign and it's up and running, I'd love to hear from you and get questions back from you. Is there anything in the chat box, Gabrielle, that I need to answer?
Not at this time, sir.
Okay. So this is kind of your primary, and I know it looks intimidating. There's a lot of data here. And as you scroll down, you'll see, lots of boxes and numbers. You'll see, different breakdowns and bar tables of different colors. You can look at, age and gender. It's giving you an insight into who clicked, who did the search, who did the click on your ad. It tells you where it showed up. It shows you, day and hour of the week that your ad showed up. So there's a lot of information, and right out of the gate, all of these details may not mean a lot, but as your campaign runs, you'll start diving into the details a little deeper, and you'll see, oh, okay, well, maybe I need to target this word more, or I need a different ad group for this service that I provide, and it will become more nuanced. One of the things that I think is important with Google AdWords is that this level of detail is very helpful, but you're not going to get this detail unless you run this campaign for at least 3 months. I mean, some information will trickle in, but you will not have this amount of detail from Google unless you run it for at least 3 months. And the reason is because Google AdWords is a learning system, so it's not a set it and forget it. So it's not a here's my 200 keywords. Google, go ahead and run my ad campaign, and then I'm going to check back later. No, the Google AdWords system, it does what they call optimize. You may have heard this word time and again when it comes to marketing. And optimize, it just means it gets smarter and it gets better. And after a while, you will find that there will be keywords and phrases. Let me see if I can see one here.
And excuse me, Justin.
Yeah.
While you're scrolling, we actually did receive a question right now. Cassandra is asking, can you please show us for 3 months or 6 months, please? I see this is for 3 years and am just curious what the difference would be. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah. Okay. The problem is I can't remember if did they do that 20? No, let's see. Oh, I did all time last month. No, that's not going to do it. They ran this. Let's just start here and see. I'm trying to remember the date range that they ran. So here, yeah, so you can see here it ran for much shorter, and I don't know that this captures everything. Yeah, okay, there you go. So yeah, that came down quite a bit, 4,000. So from May, and it cut off July 18th. So from May 2020, yeah, May, June, July. So for a 3-month span, I'm not good at math, so I'm doing this in my head. You could see what they got out of the campaign. So almost 5,000 clicks, 172,000 impressions. The cost per click was a little bit higher at 94 cents. I think what I previously showed was 78 cents. And then the overall cost, so they'd spent about half, because I think the other number was 9,000. So that shows you a little bit on a different scale what they did. And then you can see how they, changed over time. They spent more money here, they spent more money there, they spent less money on San Luis Obispo. And so part of this is the team that they were having do this move money around, but they're spending a lot of money, so they have a team doing this. As a small business owner, you can manipulate the amounts yourself probably very effectively, because they had a large campaign going with a lot of keywords. So yeah, there's just, and I was looking here to see if we had keywords. So you'll see, there are certain keywords that they can't run ads for. A lot of times it's just because there's not enough search volume there. So you may upload keywords and Google will say, nobody's looking for this keyword. And so they will stop trying to find an audience for that keyword, but they'll tell you where there is an audience. And I'm not seeing it here. The whole campaign is paused. So I'm not sure if it's because they paused the whole campaign or if they just didn't find the keywords there, because some of these I know, it's generating impressions here. I know work. And then you can look at, let's see, audiences. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see the age range of people who are doing the search. Let's see, you can look at the gender, look at household income. And I'm going to show lower than 50%, top 10%, top 10% of income earners. I don't know if these are indexed to kind of median incomes. For the region, I'd have to do a little bit more research on that. And then parental status, not a parent, they are a parent, and then unknown. So Google doesn't pick up everything, but this gives you a good idea, and you can run reports. You can, click here and run a report, have a spreadsheet that you can keep track of, monitor it over time. But what this lacks in detail, you might find on Google Analytics. This is another dashboard. Now, unfortunately, I can't compare apples to apples because I don't have access to Sotheby's analytics page. I only have it to my page, which has only been up for a very short time. And so it doesn't have a lot of detail. But you can see that, it shows you that how many new users, event count. So how many things did they do on your page? How many things would they have clicked? It will tell you region wise. So apparently somebody in France looked at my page. It will show you the page titles that people are clicking on. And like I said, unfortunately, my page is too new. It doesn't have all of the insights that you might get with a page that's been around for a while. But let's just dig into this a little bit more. It will give you a snapshot. So this is February 1st through March 29th. How many users are there? How long are they on the page on average? 31 seconds, which is fine with me. You would think, oh gosh, Justin, that sounds horrible. People come to your website and they're only there for 31 seconds. Yes, and that's fine with me, because the whole purpose of my website, I'm not trying to capture their attention necessarily for a long time. I put up blog posts that you can read in 31 seconds, a video that you can watch, in just a short amount of time. So if they're there for a short time, that's okay with me. I'm using it as a branding tool, not necessarily as a lead capture tool where I'm actually trying to get a name and a phone number or a name and email. And eventually we'll get to that, but not now. Acquisition. So let's look at traffic acquisition. So this is going to tell me, where is my traffic coming from? Direct. So these are people more than likely who have been to my site before, and they have returned, so they either found me on social, or they found me on Google, or they've been to me from one or the other, and their browser just remembers me. And so when they start typing in house hunting with Justin, it just automatically directs them to my site. They don't have to do a Google search. So that's good. This is a good number to see where people are coming direct to your website. Organic social. So this is, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is driving traffic, and then organic search. So this is me showing up on Google, and I'm not running any Google ads. So I didn't expect this to be big. And then organic video. So this is going to be probably YouTube or TikTok. I'm not sure. But it starts giving you some insights into how many people are coming to your site, how many sessions, how many times are they coming back, are they engaged, a lot of different numbers. Engagement, I don't have much metrics for engagement. But for you might, if you have a form where you want people to fill out an email to you to inquire about a service or to book an appointment, these types of conversion events may be important to you. And so, it will give you some data on that as well. Let me see. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Again, mine is a little sparse. It's not the best representation of what Google Analytics can do for you, just because I don't have a lot of data there. Another resource that you can look at is Google Search Console. So where Google Analytics is facing the people coming to your website, so your potential customers, it's looking at them and trying to understand what their behaviors are, where are they coming from, how long are they staying, what are their activities, that kind of thing. Google Search Console looks more at your website itself and tries to decide, is it performing well? Is there a problem with it? Is Google able to index your site? Index is just a way of Google kind of taking a snapshot of what's on your website right now, so that, if you do a regular blog, it knows that, oh, you recently updated your website with a new blog post. You sell craft supplies, and you've got, a whole new selection of craft supplies for spring. And so it will index your site. And when somebody searches spring craft supplies, Google will show it to them because they've indexed your site. They've taken a snapshot of it and they understand how it is. Again, this is based on my website, so I apologize, kind of sparse information here. But let's see, does it show me the last 3 months? Yeah. So this is looking at my site and the performance. 5 total clicks, 125 impressions, click-through rate 4%. I like that 4%. It's not high, but again, like I say, for what I'm doing, I don't need people to be on my site for very long. I just need them to come there, see a little bit of information, and if they go, I have a lot of overturn. I don't have a lot of repeat customers, because people who are interested in real estate, once they buy something, they've bought it. They stop searching for it. Or once they've sold something, they've sold it. They're not selling anything else. And so it's a very transient audience base that I'm after. And so, if people don't come back very often, that's okay. I just need continually people coming to my site. And as you can see, this number is moving up here on the end, this graph where the impressions, you see more and more people are coming to my site. The reason why that is happening is when I look down here at pages, I noticed that Google was not indexing a number of my pages. And I need them to have a snapshot of what I'm putting up in terms of content so that they know to show it to people. So when I realized that, because I registered for Google Search Console, I started making those changes. So you can see back here early February, I started having it index more and more pages over time. So when Google doesn't index a page, page is not indexed, I will go in and tell Google, oh, here's a new page. Here's the URL. I put up this blog post. Here's the URL. Please index. And they will index it. And then that becomes visible through the Google search. So, it's, that is a little bit labor intensive, but because it's necessary. My site is very new and it's hard to get that attention from Google sometimes. So I have to manually go in and do that. So I've thrown a lot at you in a very short amount of time. Google Business Profile, Google AdWords, Google Ad Dashboard, Google Analytics Dashboard, Google Search Console Dashboard. That's a lot to take in. And you may feel a little bit overwhelmed and think that, wow, how am I going to keep track of all that? Well,
Justin, I have a question.
Oh, I know that voice.
Yeah, because I've been on Google for a while, and I've seen all the reiterations and changes when it used to be Google Developer or whatever. And I remember when I first indexed my website, I did it through my website in whatever it was called back then. I think it was called website development or something like that, Google Web Developer. And now it's Google Console, Search Console. So how do you just said that you indexed an individual page. How do you do that? How do you go to it and put in, okay, so you do a URL inspection?
Yeah, let me see. Is that the right way of doing it? Let's see. I feel like there was a button that I pushed, but maybe it was just that. I think I just take the URL, put it in there, and it will say, oh, we have an index that page. Would you like us to index it? And and it will go. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So the one thing I wanted to encourage you with and tell you there's a simple way of doing this. And here, yet another reason why you should have your Google Business Profile set up is that you get a kind of a scaled down version of many of these metrics through Google Business Profile. So if you saw what I clicked here, I went into their page here. And again, consumers cannot see this. Only the administrator of your Google Business Profile can see it. And you can make changes across the way. But performance, if you click that, it'll bring up a very simple dashboard to give you an idea of how many people have come to Google and found your business on Google, over time, and what kind of interactions they have done. So you can see, how many people viewed your product. So if you have products listed in your Google Business Profile, you can see how many people have seen those. You can see, how many, the breakdown. Where did they find you? On a desktop, a mobile phone, maps. That's very important because what you design for your website and content that you might put out there, you want to make sure it's very mobile friendly, because most people are going to see it on a phone, not necessarily a nice big desktop monitor. And then, in terms of searches, what words or phrases triggered your ad to pop up for them to see. And you could see here, Cambria Real Estate. I mean, it's Central Coast Sotheby's. They're based in Cambria, so that makes sense. But you could see that Sotheby's shows up a couple of different times. Cambria Homes. Let's open it up and see what else we got here. Houses in Cambria. This is the old name. Less than 15. So you can see, it starts getting into smaller and smaller numbers. But it can be very instructive. Oops, I clicked out of there. One of the clients I was working for, one of her minor services that she provides, it was meditation. had the highest response rate through a Google business profile. And so it clued her in. Oh, maybe that's a part of my business I should expand, because people are really searching for it. They're finding me, but I don't really pay that much attention. So maybe I can grow my business by paying attention to a small segment that I thought wasn't a big deal to people. But thanks to Google, I now know that it's a hot topic. So that's something to keep in mind. You can see calls, how many people made calls from doing a Google search, and they see your phone number and click to dial. Messages, if you have a chat function set up, bookings, if you do that through Google directions, if you have a physical brick and mortar location, how to get to you. And then website clicks, how many clicked over to see. And you can see, here we are, January, going into fall and winter is slower for real estate. And now that we're into the new year, it's moving up. So, if you don't want a detailed dashboard, you need something scaled down, this provides that. So, does anybody have any questions or comments? Like I said, I've thrown a lot at you. I appreciate your attention and happy to fill in any gaps I may have made in this presentation.
Again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic.
I have a question. Sorry, I'm gonna put my video back on. Hi there.
Hi.
So you mentioned something in your last presentation about making sure that your SEO, I'm sorry, I'm staring at my notes over here, that your SEO matches your Google AdWords. And I just wanted to, if you could kind of maybe expand on that a little bit, because I'm redoing my SEO right now, and I'm new to Google I used to have a Google My Business profile from my brick and mortar. So I'm sort of familiar with that, but I just would love to hear a little bit more about how do that, have those things match up, please.
Yeah, so words and phrases that you use on your website, and they're prominent, they are in a position and in a coded in a way that tells Google that it's significant to your business, those will match up to any words or phrases that you use in your Google advertising. So, if you built your own website and you did everything in 10-point font type, no headlines, nothing that gives Google any kind of coding indicator that, oh, this is a section header, and we're going to talk about emergency plumbing services with this. Those are the kind, if you're doing your SEO, you probably understand that. So I'm preaching to the choir here, but yeah, to the extent that, things you use in your Google AdWords are things that Google already recognizes about your business. It's a very natural connection. Google's going to say, oh, of course, this is the person we need to show, because in that area, they have a whole page dedicated to that topic. And there's, they talk about it with all the same words that this person on the other end is looking for. So it's, it's just making sure that, who you are and who you're trying to reach match in a way that you're speaking the same language, same terms, phrases. Yeah. And it's not about keyword stuffing where people would go onto a page and they, put every city in California at the bottom of a page because they wanted to rank, statewide. Google knows better than to fall for that anymore. So it's just being upfront. In fact, they've made several changes where I can't remember the phrase that they use, but they say, they helpful content, speak from your own experience. Don't use canned blog posts that you can buy from a service. Speak from your own experience. Tell us what you've done to serve your clients, answer questions that you yourself encounter, and make that a part of your website.
That's helpful. Thank you. Yeah, totally. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, this is all the kind of the art of it. There's a science to it, but there's some thought and creativity that goes to it too. Anybody else have anything? I appreciate your attention. I mean, it's, you can tell I get pretty fired up about this, and I get to talk to businesses all the time about it, and I see the difference it makes. And so that's why I'm so happy to just kind of share this knowledge with you. So if you have any follow-up, please, reach out to Women's Business Center and we can connect some way.
Justin, I just have one question as well.
Yeah.
I know there is a free website on Google called the Google site. You could put your advertising on the Google site, What's the difference between, how to connect with the Google site with the Google business profile?
Yeah, well, when you were setting up your Google business profile, Google Sites, and I haven't checked in a while, but you used to be able to manage your website through Google business profile.
You could do that.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, you could do that. I didn't know that. I only have a Google site, but I have not set up Google business profile yet. So I was just thinking about how am I going to connect with Google site with.
Yeah. Well,
Google
as you're going through the process of setting up your Google business profile, it'll say, where's your website? And you just put in that URL. Google, being Google, should recognize it and say, oh, of course, yeah, we know who you are, and make that a part of your profile.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one more follow-up question, if I may ask. I'm
Sure.
curious about your thoughts about, because you were talking about setting up radiuses on the last call as well, in terms of how do you ever set up your radiuses around where your social media followers are? So for instance, because I moved from the Bay Area a year and a half ago, a lot of my followers are still in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I mean, it's kind of a strategy, I guess. And I'm just curious if you ever, obviously you do this for a living, so I don't know if that's, but anyway, if that's something you might recommend.
Well, it really depends on what your goals are. So, if your business is something that people have to travel to, that's one consideration. If it's not, and you can do business anywhere, you can create that Google search in the radius where you have a presence, some kind of following. I've worked with businesses where they create radiuses in different zip codes, based, especially real estate. They're like, oh, we want, people in Fresno to know about it. So they'll select a radius there and run a separate campaign for that. So yeah, you definitely can do that.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. I guess I didn't think about the separate campaign. So you just answered my question. Thank you so much.
No problem.